Thank you for joining the Asheville Rise Stronger Together podcast. This is your host, Jessica Knupp with the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce. I hope you enjoy today's episode. This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, True Point Bank. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely.
Today we have Shelton Steele with us from Wrong Way Campground.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us here
Absolutely.
today. We would love to hear about your business, kind of your role. I know you have a partner, and just kind of what you guys have going on, kind of everything that's happened through Hurricane Helene, and just
thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It's Wrong Way Campground. We're located on Amboy Road. It's my business partner Joe Balkin and I started that campground in August of 2022. So just outside of COVID.
Yeah.
And we've been in business ever since. We have 16 A-frame cabins and a 2.5-story river lodge. So the river lodge has an all-day cafe that we call the Canteen, so it's open to the public.
We've been there.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Locals and guests. And we sit smack dab in the French Broad River floodplain. So we built our cabins with the flood in mind. So they all sit 2 feet above base flood elevation, and that was a building requirement that the city had. So we followed code, and most of our structures were not directly impacted by the floods from the hurricane. However, we did have a handful of them that were damaged. But structurally, they were built to withstand the flood.
Really?
So, we are kind of working our way around the word climate resiliency. And so we're kind of finding that actually the way that we built them is very much a climate resilient concept. And we don't want to flood again, but
No, we don't.
we've been there and done that now, and we kind of know how it works.
Yeah. So what, the concept that you guys kind of opened under, I mean, you guys have a really cool concept. Kind of tell us about that.
Yeah, the business, the kind of impetus or idea behind the business, the unique value proposition was there didn't feel like there was a lodging concept that directly squarely aligned with Asheville's outdoor personality. So we came up with this kind of urban cabin campground, which is a mouthful, but that is to say that, A-frame cabins were a concept that we had, and I really liked the idea of all of them in a row that kind of made this mountain range or river waves. And so they sit perched really high above Amboy Road, and you see them when you're kind of driving down Amboy heading into the River Arts District.
How did they get their name?
Great question. So the French Broad sits across the road from us, so you can see it from the property, and the French Broad runs from south to north. So it starts over in Pisgah National Forest, and it runs all the way to Tennessee, and then it connects with the Mississippi and heads down to the Gulf of Mexico. So it runs the wrong way. And, the raft guide story was always that only a handful of rivers in the world run the wrong way, and you're in a really unique river right now. And the truth is that there are a lot of rivers that run south to north. But we like the idea that it's the Wrong Way River, and so we named our place the Wrong Way Campground.
All right.
A little nod to Asheville's counterculture as well.
That's pretty much on point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So with everything that our area has gone through with Hurricane Helene, in our community, and obviously with, giving back, is there anything like with your business, like that you guys have done to kind of get through all of this?
It was, it still makes me sigh and pause. It was a really heavy experience for all of our community and all of Western North Carolina, and I think the further we get away from it, the kind of even more gratitude that I have, and I know my partner Joe has, for kind of the way that our business withstood the flood. A lot of people lost everything, and so there's a lot of heartache around the magnitude of loss in our area. But our business is starting to bounce back. We're very much in the hotel, motel, lodging category, and it's been slower to rebound. And I think a lot of that has to do with, the public's perception of how put together Asheville is. And so I always tell people, we're up and running. Come see us. Come stay in our campground. Eat at our hotel, eat at our restaurants. Support the artists and everything that makes Asheville unique.
Yeah. Is there any, as people are coming back to visit and stay, or even like employees, like any like personal stories that you guys have
experienced kind of. I mean, a lot of them, our employees stuck with us, which was amazing. We were closed for the whole month of October. And we had some friends in the community start a GoFundMe, and with that GoFundMe and then a little bit of kind of help from Joe and I, we were able to pay our employees for the whole month of October that we were closed.
Wonderful.
So that felt really meaningful, keeping the team together. We hosted outdoor dinners on property with our staff throughout the month of October, and just tried to maintain that sense of community. And there was a moment about 2 weeks after the flood where my friends at the Chop Shop Butchery and then the Wrong Way team and a bunch of other friends all hosted a dinner at Hall Fletcher Elementary, which is in our neighborhood, kind of the east-west side of Asheville. And we cooked for about 200 people, did a big free meal, and it was the day that the power came back on in our neighborhood. So, everybody was kind of at the wit's end with, frozen meals that, whatever they were able to prepare. So a big hot meal, we had live music, and it was real heartwarming.
If there's anything that you could take out of this experience to kind of, adapt, like what would that look like? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's a nod to kind of the mountain fortitude, right? Like strong people live in the mountains of Western North Carolina and have for a really long time. It's hard to be prepared for something of that magnitude. However, I think that what we found is, the community supported one another. And if you peel back all the layers of kind of technology, communication, and you're just left with the people, it really shows you how much you can lean on your neighbors and your neighbors can lean on you. And it's kind of a reminder that, humanity is still a really powerful part of what makes us Asheville. And, I hope that we can stay in touch with that. People, know each other's names in neighborhoods now. And, just that simple question of how can I help you? I hope we can carry that forward.
Right.
And continue to help, these businesses that are still coming online stand back up, and these communities like Chimney Rock, areas that got really damaged, like help folks keep coming back.
Yeah. We, what about, it looks like following you guys like on social media and different things, looks like you guys have also pivoted with like events, and I'm sure you guys were doing that before, but did that expand through all of this? Being able to kind of partner with other organizations, other businesses.
Yeah, and the neighborhood, right? So our events are always neighborhood engagement events. So we want folks to walk down from the neighborhood and hang out on our property and just know that we're a community resource as much as we are, a tourist destination. Working with all these wonderful businesses that are in Asheville. We have tattoo pop-ups at a lot of our events with a tattoo artist that just opened a brick and mortar on Haywood Road. Her name's M, and it's Torian Tattoo. The Chop Shop's a big partner. We do pop-ups with Imposter Pizza. It's a wonderful business community.
And then your space, like for the chamber, we had one of our holiday
That's
parties.
right.
So you have a space where you can hold.
The ground level of the River Lodge is an event space, and it can hold 35 seated, 50 to 60 standing. But it's a great place for meetings. We host local birthday parties, and we do a lot of business travel. That's been a real big anchor in kind of our comeback and building our business back. October was obviously full of a lot of events because it's a really busy time of year. And the majority of those businesses that were coming to stay with us kept their reservations, kept their deposits on our books, and are coming back this year. And so that's really important for us because we were able to, have the event space rental income. We rent the cabins, and then there's a catering component, and we kind of give people, our version of a business retreat, which is always punctuated by, an evening spent around a campfire. And that's still the best way to get to know somebody.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So really, even though it was kind of disrupted by obviously the hurricane, did they come back in the spring, or are they coming back in the fall? I mean,
they got spread out over this calendar year.
Yeah.
But the most important thing for us was just trying to hold on to their business because if you're closed, to put up a 0 in October is horrendous. That's really challenging, right? But if you have to then turn around and start giving back all the deposits, right? And it takes you from losing a little bit of money to, losing a lot of money. And so for those folks to say, hey, we want to support you, we'll figure out a new date in 2025. And they did that. And they're coming back.
Yeah. That's and just getting like the travel component to get here, our roads and, everything. And we just weren't expecting it. So for people to say, hey, we're still coming and we're still going to get here and we're still going to stay, and everybody was so impacted by everything that was happening, so to know that people still want to come and still want to support us, and
absolutely,
it's just so wonderful. So that's great. So we really, how can people find out how to book a stay, book the meeting spaces?
Sure.
How can we?
Yeah, we're wrongwaycampground.com. Okay. So super easy. Just Google Wrong Way Campground. There's only one of us. And then we've got social media handles, Facebook and Instagram at Wrong Way Campground. And our website's a good resource for not just booking with us, but we also have travel guides, guide maps. So we show people kind of where some of our favorite spots are in the area. And then we link out to a lot of the experienced partners that lead trips like tubing, parkway tours.
Saw some like biking options.
Yeah, the fly and bike guys, we link out to them. So, it's a great resource for people trying to plan a trip when they come to Asheville.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate that. Talking about the flying bikes, they are in our visitor center because they were displaced during the hurricane as well. So,
a lot of people taking care of people.
Yeah.
But we're whole now as a community. We're not exactly put back together the way that we were, and we're always going to be different. So, it's important for people to know that Asheville is extending an invitation to come back, have fun at our city, and support our little mountain town.
That's right. I mean, we might not look exactly like we did, but we're all still here.
That's right.
Yeah. And you can find where we are. We're all here.
That's right.
Well, we really appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Love to learn about all of our different, opportunities that we have. The space is amazing. I remember when you guys were building, and I was like, what? Like driving by, like, what is this?
Yeah. Why do they sit so high in the air? Now we know the answer.
Now we know why.
Right.
So, but it's really cool, and we're just so thankful that everything was okay.
Yeah.
And we're so glad that you could join our Asheville Rise podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks
it's
for
a pleasure.
being here. All right.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
See y'all.
If you enjoyed today's episode, like, comment, and subscribe. To learn more about joining the Asheville Chamber, scan the QR code on your screen or visit ashevillechamber.org. Until next time.